this idea where I just have to, whenever I write or text someone, usually the language will be casual and it will not be with a good syntax and good grammar. So I just want to build a small tool to myself where if I select Control A, that is select the text that I want to rewrite, and then hit a key binding, that should assign that selected text to the LLM and reword or rephrase it correctly, and then give me the nicely formatted or professionally written text so that I can send it off. So that's the idea. So basically I don't want to do back and forth work and reduce the manual effort. That's the whole idea. Let's see if we can build that tool. So now I'm inside my Gemini AI studio. I already have this small tool where if I speak, it will convert the speech to text, sort of like all the wipe code is used, right? I have built a small tool for myself. I'll speak to it and then that does a translation of from natural language to the text. Let's go ahead and do some research using Google AI Studio. I just want to build a small tool to myself. The features of the tool should be sort of like this. As soon as I select Control A and hit a key binding, it should send the text to LLM and get the response back and replace the selected text. So for this I want to use OpenRouter. For this I want to use OpenRouter and give me a solid plan on how to implement this. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this off and then see what the Google or Gemini 2.5 Pro is going to suggest us. By far Gemini 2.5 Pro is by far the strongest coding model out there. Now Google, it just went ahead and started implementing. I should have told it not to go ahead and implement that, but I just wanted to brainstorm the idea. But anyway, let it complete and then see what it has thrown at us. So the first thing, copies the currently selected text, sends the text to OpenRouter LLM endpoint, receives the LLM, pastes the response back. So the phase one, go to the comments, I don't know, whatever, those are highly recommended. So it's suggesting me to use Python. Request whatever, Python details, and then we have request library, paperclip for clipboard interaction, copy and the paste. Okay, just written. I think is it that simple? Global Hotkey on automated copy and the paste thing. Okay, so I'll ask it to implement. Let's do one thing. Give me a detailed PRD for this. It should account for all the functionalities that we want to implement. I don't know, for some reason this is slow today. So So once we generate the PRD, we're asking it to generate. I have an empty project open here. Let's create a new file called prd.txt, and then whatever we get we can paste it. Quick text answer. It just it just came up with the name also for this, which is good. Okay, now that it has generated the PRD, what we can do is we can simply copy the text. No, you need to copy it as a markdown. Let's paste it here. This is our PRD, right? We can ask it to convert this into tasks. So now that we have our PRD, convert this PRD into a list of tasks. Each task should build upon each other for the full implementation. I think we missed one thing. Even before doing anything, I think we should be able to, if we had done some research about how the OpenRouter works, how OpenRouter thing, that would have been very much useful. Anyway, what we can do now is we can create another file called tasks.txt, and then we can ask our LLM to implement this one task at a time. So we have phase 3 configuration, error handling and logging complete at this point. So we have phase 5 ongoing tasks through all phases. Okay, testing, refactoring and documentation. For this, what we can do is we can copy the markdown, and then we can paste all our tasks here. Now in our thing, I want to implement this project. From this PRD, implement the task 0.1. So I'm going to attach both my tasks as well as PRD. Let's see if this will implement the task 1. Okay, dear quick text LLM enhancer. Okay, he just went ahead and created a directory. Create a directory. Just initiated. He just did the git init. Okay, it started creating a virtual env. We should have asked it to use the UI package manager. That would have been good, but anyway, let's continue with this for now. Now if you look at our task 1, we need to create a project. We need to initialize the git repository, set up a python virtual env, and then create a .git file. Okay, OpenRouter account and the API. Ensure that you have OpenRouter account. Obtain your API and choose the initial LLM model that we want to use. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. OpenRouter. For this, we can choose any free model, but since the usage won't be that large, right? We can go with the keys. Create a new key. We can ask it reword tool. We simply copy it, we place it someplace else. or within this directory we can create a new file called .env. We just paste our key again. For now we need to format it properly. Let's come back to that again. So once we have that, we can go back to task 2. What model should we choose? We can choose the Gemini Flash. Flash Gemini Flash 2.5 preview. Anyway, that's free, right? I should be free. It's very minimal, and that doesn't matter. What we can do is we can simply copy, and this is the model that we want to go ahead and work with. Okay, now that we have our first task completed, let's go ahead and implement the task 0.2 and 0.3. Okay, I will install the initial dependencies, which is request on the python.env. That is good. So in the phase 2, in the meantime, let it complete. In the meantime, let's look at what we have. Core LLM interaction, create a .env. Okay, now we have this key, right? That is what it is asking us to do. We just did that. Hardcode we chosen, site URL or your app name for now. Then model name should be this, right? Great, now we have request and audience part task 2. Okay, now let's move to the phase 1 and implement the task 1.1 and 1.2 and 1.3. I have already created .env file. Now use this as a model. Okay, let's fire it off. Since the app is very simple, that's why I'm just trying to do multiple things at a time. Anyway, to give the context, let's open router. We have docs here. We should have done this earlier itself. OpenAI v1 client create. This is from OpenAI. Use the OpenAI directory chat completions. I think this is what it is doing, right? Let's see. That is OpenRouter API v1 chat completions. I think it has used the right thing, right endpoint, and that is great. So it just went ahead and then implemented the task 1.3. Based on the clipboard pip install pyperclip. Pyperclip is the one that does the copy pasting of that is what it is going to interact with our clipboard, I think. Okay, to test the task, ensure that .env file copy and key, copy some text in your clipboard from the editor web page, run the script from your main directory. The script should print the original text from the clipboard. Text it successfully, it will print the process text, copy to the right. So copy the text to your clipboard. So what we can do is okay, let's talk some gibberish and then let it fire it off to the LLM, and then we can run and test how this is going to do, right? So we have our text now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control A, Control C, open up reword inside that quick. So we are inside that directory. We need to run Python main.txt. Let's see. Oh, it was able to copy the text from the clipboard. That is very good. Okay, let's fire it off. But very strange, right? Alright, let's get out here. Here is the little text of something to throw into the LLM blender. Okay, fire it off. Let's see what the LLM makes. What are you specifically hoping to? Are you looking for a creativity? Let me know, what are you testing for? That's very strange. What is there in the clipboard? Anyway, that worked. Let's move ahead and then see what we're going to do now. We just did 1.3. Let's move to the phase 2. Okay, now that works. Let's go ahead and implement the task 2.1 and 2.2. So we are inside 2.1 and 2.2. Let's see how that is going to work. So how many phases do we have? Phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. Phase 5 optional further enhancement. That is okay. Now what is the phase 4? Corresponds to PRD version 2 feature. Systems tray icon, desktop notifications. We don't need advanced prompt management, hotkey configuration, and then we have executable, and that is okay. Hotkey functionality, great. Pynput is installed. Import. So let's go back to task 2. Keyboard controller, write the function to simulate. Travel with the px where the current working directory terminal should be. Let's try running. Great. Pynput is now installed. I'll modify to include imports of pynput keyboard. Pynput keyboard on place activation LLM to function to initiate. Control C, Control A, paste from the clipboard, and the hotkey listener Ctrl+R. So is this implemented? Not sure. Pynput keyboard, whether that has been no, I don't see anywhere that got imported. Can you double check actually those tasks are implemented? Looks like I don't see them. Pyperclip added for the task to now .env load environment variable for whatever. Describe the changes also to make to task to whatever. Let's implement the whatever tasks. Necessary imports. Okay, I think now it started implementing actually, and then 2.1 2.2 integrate the hotkey with now run the script. You should see the messages about the hotkey listener being set up. Try pressing Ctrl+R. Hotkey activated printed in the console. Whatever, let's move. Let's go ahead and implement task 2.3. Okay, configuration, full configuration file setup. Decide on the config file format and then implement the robust error handling for console logging. MVP complete at this point, and then enhancements. Okay, after 3 tasks we should have our basic app running, right? So the rest of the tasks are optional. uh, let's go and implement these two, and then we can test the rest of the things later. Okay, now that we completed phase 2, let's go ahead and implement the tasks 3.1 and 3.2. So we're using very powerful LLM here. uh, the task that I'm giving it is very straightforward, right? That's why I'm going ahead and trying to implement this all at one go. Anyway, we don't want to complicate the things. Let's keep this simple. So we have our config.ini default your helpful assistant that will concisely rephrase, summarizes and improves the text. Use the selection about the whatever. Alright, we have the name, we have your site URL, your app name. We don't need that. So anyway, prompt. Okay, we could have done this all with a single prompt, but again I don't want to okay, now that all the implementations are complete, let's see how it is going to work, right? What is the hotkey? I don't even know what the hotkey is, right? Copy, selection, paste on LLM active, storing the current clipboard, right? And then we have our on release handles key release events. A simple combination of Ctrl+Alt+R. We can check if that's basically Ctrl+Alt+R is what I say, plus Control test the hotkey activation. Escape to stop the listener and exit the script. Hotkey pressed on LLM activation. Ctrl+Alt+L. Ctrl+Alt+L. Hotkey combination. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and then run this. So now it says it is loading the configuration from config.ini file. API key loaded using whatever the model. System prompt. Okay. Setting up the hotkey. Ctrl+Alt+R. Press Ctrl+Alt. Press the hotkey activation. Escape to stop listener and exit the script. Okay. Let's go ahead and test. We have it here. Ctrl+Alt+C. Ctrl+Alt+R. So I started waiting for the hotkey or escape. Ctrl+Alt+R. So I just pressed my, but again nothing seems to happen. Ctrl+Alt+R. Ctrl+Alt+R. I'm pressing the Ctrl+Alt+R. Nothing seems to happen. How to use this tool? Give me the instruction. Okay. Alright, escape works though. Ping the listener. So it's still thinking, right? Yes, it is thinking. So I should have asked it a concise document on how to use it, right? Okay, now that we have, check the control mode. These are the things we should activate env. That is true, right? We are not activated our env. Yes. So host vnv bin activate the scripts activate, right? So activate. Okay, now that we are inside the VNV, let's try running our script. That's strange. Why is it taking so much time? Okay, now that we have let's do this exercise again. Ctrl+Alt+A, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+Alt+R. So what is it going to do? No, nothing happened, right? So no, it's not happening. So left control, left alt-R. Okay, now that check the terminal process script to stop is not okay. Using the hotkey terminal when it's running may not be active window when you press the hotkey. The script is listening in the background. Switch to another application notepad. Select the piece of text with your mouse or keyboard. You now press Ctrl, then press Alt. Then press Ctrl R. Then release all three keys. Look back at the terminal window running. You should see we just select and then we see Ctrl Alt R and then we released. Then now stopping to solve the scripts in the terminal. You can escape. You should escape C. But correct key combination, try specifically left control, left alt, left R. Is it possible other application on system use also? This could be interference. Marco is no, I'm using the Windows 11, but still the hotkey activation is not working. I have activated virtual env and trying to run the script, but still I do not see any hotkey activation, or it's not sending. Okay, let's continue and then see if this works now. Ctrl Alt R. I just pressed everything, but this is what I see, but still I don't see any hotkey combination that is getting triggered, right? But your test script test underscore pynput, it is able to capture the keys though. I don't know, for some reason this is slow today. Let's give it one more try. It is doing its thinking. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Especially with the global hotkeys, I have very good success with Rust. The Rust language, but in Python I always had some trouble. Now that I just made some modifications, let's give it a try and then see how this is going to work. It just hung the word so we been take it. UEMV. Let's see scripts. So activate Python. Let's run it again and then see what happens. Anyway, now that we have selected Ctrl+Alt+R, so we just pressed whether the hotkey activation has happened. Yeah, Ctrl+Alt+R, so we just text and has been told. Yeah, that worked, right? Script started, config, waiting for whatever. But again, hotkey activated, starting LLM processing, storing current clipboard, simulating the Ctrl+C to copy the selected text, getting selected text from the keyboard, selected text first, 100 configuration, processing the text. I think that's not what it is, right? So what we can do is Ctrl+A, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+Alt+R. Let's see what is going to happen. I change some test data, send it to evaluate its performance. Yeah, I think that is good, right? It worked. We have our prototype ready, but it has a trouble simulating Ctrl+C. I can live with that, right? When you say Ctrl+A, I can do Ctrl+C, and then Ctrl+Alt+R I can do, generate the test data for LLM performance evaluation. That is good, not bad. Though with that we concluded our implementation, right? We can accept all the changes, we can delete this, right? So we have around 250 lines of code. Now that we can ask it for main.txt, remove all do a bit of cleanup and remove all the redundant comments, and then organize the code better. So that's a simple tool, so it's not a complex application, right? So I think for simple tool this should be more than enough. So we followed a bit of a good conventions to implement this. The first thing is we generated our PRD containing capturing all the user stories, and then MVP with the technical consideration and everything, and then we converted that to the list of tasks that we want to implement. Okay, now that the implementation is complete, let's go ahead and give one more try here. So we go back. So we're going to test this application once again. Let's copy and then see how this is going to perform. Right. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+Alt+R. Okay, that worked. Testing the application by copy pasting. Let's see the performance. Yeah, that worked. Right. Ctrl+Alt. We can simply escape, and that's our simple script.